when I'm not helping my brother out with his fake nature show.
Hey, welcome back to Paul's Planet. The llama mating ritual involves spitting at his partner. So if you get spat on by a llama, you best report that freaky llama to the authorities. Or don't.
I like to answer questions I get on YouTube, so let's get to it. Sean, great content. You're always putting out new videos. Question: where do you get inspiration for creativity and song ideas? Life experience? Give examples. Yeah, it's 100% from life experience. I mean, as far as examples go, a lot of the vlog videos that I kind of do in companion with the new music videos, sometimes I'll talk about like the origin of kind of like the metaphorical ways that I try to write songs and stuff like that. But it's really all from life experience. So my best advice, if you're having trouble writing something, go out and do something. Go do anything. And then, I don't know, just try to reflect upon it musically, which is why kids suck at writing songs. I remember last week I was teaching this little girl piano, and she's like, I'd like to write a song. I'm like, yeah, let's do it, because you got to start just writing, even if they're just dumb little songs. I think it's helpful for people. And I'm like, what do you want to write a song about? And she's kind of thinking about it, and I knew what she was going to say. And then she goes, can we write a song called Bluebird? And I'm like, I knew you wanted to write a song about a bird, you basic little girl. Everybody wants to write a song about some kind of bird because they have no better life experience to draw from. Also, little kids will also want to start writing songs. Like the first line of the song should be, I was walking down the street. Because I guess that's something that they're very intimately familiar with. So just put yourself in different life situations and then just reflect on it, write a kick-ass song about it, and then just do your thing. I'm literally 15 seconds in and don't want to finish because this cocky asshole already got me pissed off. I watched that video and I was only a cocky asshole for like 7 to 9 seconds, and then the real education started. So, yeah. There's no such thing as Irish music. They stole it from the Scots, who brought it to Ulster in the 1600s. Before that, they were trying to get tunes out of spuds or Pete. Ulster, Scots invented the music you hear now in bluegrass country, etc. So this is an Irish truther conspiracy music comment of the week. There's no such thing as Irish music. In terms of practice routine, I really dig the 2-5-1 or 1-4-5-1 progressions. Not only do you learn the chords within the scale you're playing, but also their arpeggiation. I personally suck at arpeggios, but that's what practice is about. I just recently started thinking on actual practice routine. Before that, I was like, grab the guitar and spam those major 7 or minor 7 flat 5 chords, which there's nothing wrong with, by the way. What are your thoughts on a bit more out there scales, like the double harmonic major and minor, whole tone, augmented, etc.? Do you tend to use them in your playing or not so much, as they do sound very situational and evocative? So I can't say personally that even when I'm like writing or playing, I even so much think about the scales, specifically the more exotic ones. I think I'm just so intimately familiar with like major, minor, pentatonic stuff that I just kind of go there without thinking about it. The one kind of exotic thing that I'll use in my playing a lot probably is harmonic minor, which again is just the minor scale with a sharp 7. But really, my ear just leads me to play whatever. So I'm sure I've probably used double harmonic minor or major or something in the past. I can't really even think of a specific situation that's occurred. But when I'm playing or like writing music or something, I'm almost always just letting my ear lead me. And because of my influences, that almost always is within the major scale. Also sometimes with borrowed chords and stuff for sure, just to make things interesting. But yeah, I think the more you practice something, the more it just kind of invisibly seeps into your playing without you realizing it. So if I just kind of like just shredded the double harmonic minor over and over again, I'm sure I would probably start hearing that stuff pop up more. But that's not really something that I personally think of. I saw on your Instagram account that you tried the Hans Zimmer masterclass. What did you think of it? Is there anything you'd recommend about his or other masterclasses? So the masterclass stuff gets advertised a lot on YouTube, specifically for a lot of my videos, and eventually I just had to do it just because Hans Zimmer is an absolute legend with a fantastic accent and enthusiasm. So I did get the Hans Zimmer masterclass, and it was okay. It was entertaining, and it was a cool kind of like look behind the curtain, I suppose. I don't think I learned a lot about composition and arrangement for stuff, which maybe a lot of people were probably thinking they would get into because he does so many film scores. But also, too, I just don't think Hans Zimmer is that kind of musician. Like, when it comes to chops, I wouldn't say like he's one of the best players out there. I just think he's like a great writer and has a knack for kind of like writing very simple, catchy melodies that are perfect for the context and really resonate with a lot of people. So, you know, it wasn't really surprising that he doesn't really get into a lot of like the nuts and the bolts of the theory. He does a little bit, but if that's what you're looking for, definitely do not get the Hans Zimmer masterclass. But if you just kind of want to see, you know, an all-time great music film score kind of take stuff through the paces, then I definitely think it would be cool. I haven't had a chance to check out any of the other masterclasses, but if any of you guys have experience, please put in the comments and we'll check it out. I want to see a full fruit and veggie band. Scenario, you are given the power to change one member of Led Zeppelin retroactively with whomever you want. However, if you don't make a decision, none of their music will have ever been released. What do you do? So I think the answer is almost kind of obvious, and it's going to sound like I'm hating on bass players like everybody always does. I've talked many times about my love, admiration, and respect for John Paul Jones, but if you had to replace somebody in Zeppelin and still try to keep as much of the Zeppelin-ness intact, it would 100% have to be John Paul Jones. And nothing against John Paul Jones, it's just kind of like a bass player in general. Unless you're a band where the bass player is kind of like the primary focus of what's happening, something like Primus or Weather Report or something like that, I almost think that if you replace any bass player with another competent bass player, then they can do their role in a band, you know, in an adequate way. Not saying that they would be better, and again, it almost kind of sounds like I'm hating on bass playing, but that's almost just kind of like what the job of a bass player is in most traditional band contexts, is just holding down the bottom and like locking in with the drummer, you know? So a lot of competent musicians could do that. So I think it's kind of like the same thing with Zeppelin, you know? What made them so special to me is just kind of like the relationship that Bonham had with Page from a riff writing, just rocking out standpoint, and then the relationship that Page had with Plant from just kind of like a soaring vocal melodic writing thing. And John Paul Jones did it better than probably anybody could have as far as being the glue of that band. But like in sports, they have like a stat like wins above replacement or win shares above replacement, which is supposed to measure how, if you take like a star player out and replace him or her with like, you know, an average competent player, how much of a difference would that be? I think that's almost always true in bass players. If you just have a competent, good bass player and replace them in a band, they can kind of know the role and get the job done. So it's not that Zeppelin wouldn't suffer if you took JPJ out, but I think that most of what we think of as Led Zeppelin would remain intact, but not as good. When is Elliott Smith Week? Thank you so much for asking, Paul. Elliott Smith Week begins tomorrow because Elliott Smith is probably one of the most influential musicians on me, so I kind of wanted to do like a themed week where we have some performances, some riff deconstructions, lessons, and just kind of breaking down who I think is one of the great musicians of our times, singer, songwriter-wise, guitar player, drummer, piano player, everything. So we're going to have a lot of Elliott Smith stuff going on this week. So even if you're not a fan, please check it out because I think you'll like it because there's something for everybody there. And for listening homework, I'm going to link you to some Elliott Smith to get the party started. So if you have any comments, hit me up in the comment section, Instagram, Twitter, or the website, and I'll talk to you all soon. Thanks a lot.